Hello, beautiful souls. Lori Rising here, Star Channel, Embodiment, and Galactic Guide. How are you doing? Happy Cancer New Moon coming up on July 17th, 2023 at 2:32 p.m. Eastern. Woo! We are in big energies at the end of July, and it feels like the emotional dam has broken, has disintegrated, has shattered. Did you step through? Did you flow into the unknown? Or did you try to get the heck out of the river and on shore at the highest intensity, at the peak of intensity, especially last week? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't watched my previous video, it's a great one to jump off from into this one. I'm going to link it up here. But finish this one first and then go back and watch that one. It's called The Nodes of Fate, Fatigue, and Reprieve, and people are definitely resonating with it. So this, y'all, is the manifestation, unfolding practice, and energies that we are moving into in really amazing ways. So with this Cancer new moon, I'm feeling like it's the nurturing of the unknown, like the nurturing of the seeds of where we haven't gone before, the new territory. Thank you. That's what it's feeling like. Is like, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm here and it actually feels okay. The charge has dissipated. And now I get to look around in an all new land, in a whole new space. Doesn't that feel good? Because y'all, I'm not going to lie, that got so intense last week, the scarcity grip that just kept coming up, where you're on that precipice of growth. You're on that precipice of moving beyond this mindset or this limitation, or even, the generational wound, the imprint in your body. And it's not just easy. That's the thing. That's why I held the Manifest Like a Champ mastermind this week. And it was so good. So good, in fact, y'all. I have added another one for August. Yes. People are I keep getting more and more messages about how amazing it was. And this is the work that we need to get out into the world. This is the vibration that we need to really resonate with. And that's my mission here on Earth. So please join me, sign up at the link below. But what I'm saying is that, like, at that peak of intensity, which is what I call healing pain, when we stay with it, when we hold that timeline, that energy, that highest epiphany that we know is available, what we haven't experienced, we know it's available in the energy, in the spirit, but we haven't experienced it in the physicality yet. You're going to get the breakthrough. That's the emotional dam shattering open after all that pressure comes along. And then, wow, you're coming into a paradise that you never allowed yourself to get into before. And that's where it feels like we're going with this Cancer new moon. Now, I'm not going to lie. Pluto is doing a banging job. Pluto's got a lot going down. And that's really what I want to talk about for this Cancer new moon. But there's a few other things in there as well. We just have so much going down at the end of July. We've got the nodes of fate changing signs today. And not today if you're watching this, but the same day as the Cancer new moon on July 17th. We've got the Venus retrograde in Leo stationing on the July 22nd. We have the Sirius Stargate opening up, the Lionsgate portal on August 8th. Officially, that's like the constructed date that they have. And then we have the exact Pluto square the nodes on July 23rd. So it's July 14th when I'm recording this right now. So we've got a big ride coming, but honestly, it feels like we're already in that, when you get over the top of the ride and once you start going down, you feel everything just shift, right? It's like the light starts to open because you've already jumped and there's no going back. And once you physically know, because this is what we've always needed, once you physically know there's no going back, then that's where the surrender can be. And that's where you finally allow yourself to enjoy the free fall or the ride or the drop or the adrenaline or the excitement, whatever it is, right? So it feels like we're right as we're starting to move down and we're softening and we're saying, I can do this. And as we say, I can do this, and as we open to this new expansion that's coming from all of that deep excavation and transformational work we did last week, it feels like then this is where in manifestation work, the frequency does rise, and that's where the ease comes in. But I am blowing the myth open that manifestation is just thoughts and ease, because it's not. We live in this culture. We are humans. We're here to connect. We're here to move through the growth that happens in those connections. And that is always, always going to bring an ebb. It's always going to bring a shadow, a reflection, because pretty much I just got this. It's like the holy grail of humanity, of living as a human life, is growing, is that growth and that evolution. So even in the hard and the good, the soft, the difficult, the stuck, the flow, we can know that we're actually living out the highest possibility of humanity when we're saying, yes, I'm going to do this growth. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to excavate. I'm going to get curious. And hopefully you get to that point where you're like, I'm ready to go through the healing pain, because back there just keeps me in a loop and it keeps me stuck. And it's actually way more uncomfortable for a much longer amount of time. Okay. So lots going down, but I'm going to actually share the chart with you because I just want to show you what we're looking at, especially with Pluto here. Okay, here we are. Don't worry about the time that's in my time zone. Okay, so we can see here that Venus and Mars are still in conjunction and it's out of sign, but I really like this conjunction because Mars in Virgo is, how do you take action daily? Like, how are you creating more of a daily practice of your body-mind connection, which contributes to your wholeness, your wellness, your health, right? And how do you fall deeper in love with you, your light, like how you came here to shine in the world? That's the Venus in Leo. Or how do you take action on a daily basis in, your relationships from a place of courage and bravery, in having purposeful fun and realizing that that's part of our manifestation work, that that's an important element of that holistic living and unfolding of this experience, right? So I think it's a good thing to take stock of. I'm actually feeling this energy already for myself, and how little I take real time off, like full time off to unplug, because my to-do list is so big within this business. And I'm actually dropping in right now, and I'm starting to like rework that. I'm starting to excavate it, and I'm going to get myself to the other side real soon. I can feel it, right? That's where we're in this flow, this, as the dam has already opened and it has been released, we are now like, okay, I can see a possibility there. I can see how that can shift in my life, and not only how it can shift, but what it's going to attract or expand in that shift. That's what we're really starting to feel. That's the trust that we're starting to feel. Y'all, yeah, there's so much going on. So that's just a little bit about that. And then we also have Mars opposing Saturn. So this is looking at your spiritual world, right? Like, how boundless are you? How limitless are you? How compassionate are you? Where's your empathy? And how much are you still trying to check out? Because that doesn't work anymore. I mean, that's only going to create more and more and more overwhelm. The more that you come back up here to Leo, especially as the Venus goes into retrograde, this is what it's going to ask you, is to find that bravery and that courage to be showing up fully in your life, because you're going to actually move through the imprints and the wounds and the imbalances that show up in your field so much faster. And then you're going to be evolving the way that we actually came in here to evolve. But I mean, of course, we just have a huge light revolution going on. So the more that we can open ourselves, the more we bring in more light, the more that evolution is just automatic. And this is, it's such an exciting time to be here. Okay, so just showing you that a little bit as well. And now what I really want to look at is here we have Pluto. It's opposing the sun and moon in Cancer. And then, you know, Pluto is still square to the, I'm making some big circles here, the north node and the south node. So this isn't in one modality. So we've got the nodes are in fixed and the sun and moon in Pluto are in cardinal, or else it would be a grand cardinal cross or a grand fixed cross. But we don't have that. So I kind of like this. It's almost like finding the best out of both modalities. Cardinal as in taking action, even though we're in a new moon and we're planting these new seeds of new territory that we are frontiering, right? It's like, we're like, yes, I'm fully ready. I'm declaring that I'm moving into that territory now because I know that I'm safe. And I know that the universe has my back. I know that I am an amazing creator and I'm here to live in limitless possibilities. Like when that becomes so strong within you, now here we are in this beautiful space. Now we are going to be going exact with Pluto and the nodal axis on the 23rd, when Scorpio moves into Libra at 29 degrees and Taurus moves into Aries at 29 degrees. So then that's going to bring us back to this. How do we reconcile those energies, right? With a square, it's like, that's, to me, it's almost a little bit like Saturn energy, right? Like, what's the challenge here? And how do you use these energies to help each other out instead of, you know, work against each other? So that's where I feel like this new moon, we're working more with the opposition of Pluto to the sun and moon in Cancer, which makes this more of an action new moon. It makes it more of a, not even necessarily physical action, though I think that there's a lot of that happening. It makes it more into an active emotional process. Like you're building a new emotional world, right? You're not going back to the one that you've relied on for so long that has actually created limitation for you. And because Pluto, of course, Pluto is all about death, but it's also about rebirth. So I think we focus so much on the energy of dying things off with Pluto's assistance that we forget that it happens simultaneously. As things die off, we create space and room for what's wanting to come in that we've never allowed ourselves to believe in before. And so then that shows up, right? So I really like that. I feel like this is just another big leap into our manifestation mastery. Y'all, we are absolutely on our way towards mastery. And I've gotten hella confirmation on that recently, not just for myself, but for people that I work with in my containers. Like there is a lot happening that is, it's like a glow, it's an aura, it's a yes. And when we get to that place of that yes energy, it's like there's no limit. That's the 0 point activation. And we're here to come back to that in the present moment often. But because we had been trained so much to live in the past or in how the future might be affected from what we've experienced in the past, which creates that tension or anxiety or control, right? Like when you trust that something can be so much better and bigger and bolder than what you ever even expected or wanted as the outcome, then wow, that just creates so much more of a flow and fluidity that's actually our best health. I mean, y'all, last week, I'm just going to say, when we were at the peak of intensity, that precipice of like, am I gonna do the final jump? Am I gonna do the final jump in this transformation in where I'm moving to, where I'm up leveling to? I was literally, because when you can't feel it, when you're in the thick of it and you can't feel what you what your energy knows is possible, it just gets really uncomfortable, and it can feel mentally exhausting. It can feel depressive. It can feel hopeless. But I feel like it's also important to realize that this is part of being so intentional in doing the work, in the soul growth, in the journey. And then that becomes so much more normalized, especially when you feel the flow out of it and you feel the up leveling. Then you realize that a lot of that becomes just a part of our soul growth journey. And especially when you have the foresight to reach out for help when you need it. And I was reaching out for help last week. I'm in a couple of groups. I like put posts out there. I talked to some friends and family. I was in tears, and there was points where I broke down. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I need to do this in a new way. So I just started going out and supercharging my body with bumhole sunbathing. This is some of our deepest health, is like accessing those power points of the body that don't see the sun very often. And they're sensitive and they're open. And when we do this responsibly, it blasts us with vitamin D, which increases our mental health, our happiness, our wellness, right? There's so many biological mechanisms that happen when we get into co-creation and co-consciousness with the consciousness all around us, with what we came here to use, right? When we showed up, we didn't have all the systems in place. Those were manifestations of somebody, and then people kept putting belief into them, and they kept getting more and more power. This is what we're changing. Remember, your new earth currency is light, frequency, belief, and energy. We can say belief or attention. Wherever you put your belief, wherever you put your intention, that is going to be the energy that you're vibrating in your field. So, yeah, by the time I got to that point, because I was so committed to moving through this limitation or barrier, I'd been working on it for a few months, that I was ready for that up level. I did 3 days in a row. And by the third day, I had a major breakthrough. And I was doing other work as well. But this is what I'm saying. This is where we have to have those go-to tools in our toolbox when we can't access it, when we're trying to access something through the mind, because that doesn't work anymore. It never really worked before, but we just got trained in that. And that's what landed us in dis-ease and stress and unwholeness and dimming our light, quite honestly. So I just feel like this Cancer new moon is really this empowered place of 0 point activation, empowered place of like the unknown potentials. And I feel like Pluto has been kind of working it from every angle, right? As it's squaring the nodes, now as it's opposing the sun and moon. And Cancer is giving us, we have the Capricorn full moon that gave us, it gave us the extra oomph to really decide if we wanted to change these systems in our world, if we wanted to change these beliefs, if we wanted to change this reaction that we keep having in a certain way. And now it feels like, okay, now it's time to like nurture the new territory, the new softness. And like, you have to nurture it, especially if you start to feel that rearing up of that scarcity or of like just wanting to stay safe. Even though it wasn't comfortable, it became safe. So just let yourself be in that softness of Cancer energy and be in the boldness of your new emotional world based on what's now coming through in the physicality. The manifestations are happening. The knowingness is happening. And that might just mean the inspired actions coming for the manifestation. So I just love where we're going. And I'm going to be back to talk about the Venus retrograde. And I'll probably be back to talk about Lionsgate as well. So let's just do a quick card pull to see what the guides have to say today. And I hope you have found so much support in these messages. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm excited for the things that you are now saying yes to. because I can feel it. We're moving from that full overwhelm energy and incapacitation to, oh, yes. That's what it feels like. Like, oh, a whole new world. That was for you, Lacey. All right, y'all. So these are my Earth Spirit cards because it feels like more of a gentle energy, even though it feels like there's a lot of that cardinal excitement. And it's like, yeah, thank you. I'm having to do this too. It's like, wait a second, pace yourself a little bit, let yourself come back to the moment, because you're on this like spinning trajectory of like everything that's possible. So like just come back, stay centered, and trust that what's meant to be the next step is going to make itself known to you in really big ways, right? And that receptivity energy of Cancer. So the first card is you are sacred. And of course you are. And this to me is this love that's coming on, this love of this journey, of the choice of this body, of this experience. Because y'all, when we really do love ourselves relentlessly, we're unfuckwithable. Like nobody can touch that, because then we believe in ourselves before any of the other judgments and expectations, any of that other energy. And then we have more of that inspiration to go forward. And what we came to share in the world, we find our voice, we find our truth, and then we find the paths that are opening up for us to express that. And then, which moves us to the spiritual journey. And look at that, the heart chakra. And this is all about the Cancer new moon. And it's like, open your heart and also expand that heart energy out for the manifestation work that you're doing, y'all. Bring it in. Bring it into that light that pours into and out of your heart. Our hearts are now like the third brain or whatever. I don't know what science is saying, right? So like the second brain was the gut, and now the third brain is the heart, right? But this is just showing how magical and how much this body is the conduit to our God self, to source energy, to our highest self, to the most blissful unfolding of this experience from love frequency. Because no matter what you have around you or as, possessions, when you're in that love frequency, that's bigger than any of the rest. And then that actually emanates out to the rest as well. And then the final card here is run with the wolves. Ooh, I love this because wolves, they're independent, but yet they're part of a pack. And this is where we're going with the North Node in Aries. And hopefully this is what you're feeling in the Cancer new moon, of like standing really tall in your emotions and the unfolding of them. So even last week when I was at the peak intensity, there were a couple people that heard that from me. And I don't filter. I mean, granted, I have a heck of a lot of Aries in my chart, but I don't filter. And, if they're coming in connection with me on that day or in those moments, they heard it. And then it passed. It didn't linger. And so that's where it feels like when we can stop taking on like feeling like a burden, or, like I can't lean on somebody else. Like when the intensity comes, I have to just do it all alone. When we realize that we're here to support each other, and that's where all of these circles online, especially, or in retreats, are so amazing. This is the energy that we're moving to in the golden age, in the age of Aquarius, is strangers relatively, because we're not anymore. We connect so deeply before we ever connect physically. But we come together in this place of intention, in this place of open-heartedness and non-judgment. And we get to express, when we do the healthy expression of being a human, it doesn't linger. It's not a burden. And we realize what a gift it is and how magical it is. And sometimes that is even a reflection all the time. It's a reflection for whoever else is receiving that at the time. So when we can start getting rid of all these stories, that's going to make us so strong and realize, just like the pack of the wolves, we all have a different part to play in this community. And no one is there to outshine us. Even if we have the same job title, We all bring our own unique experience and unfolding. And what we're realizing is the deepest place of education in this life is through experience. It's experiential learning. That's how we came in to learn, from stories and from each other, through our innate sensory system, right? Through our emotional world, through our feelings. Ooh, that feels so good. I love this last card because, again, this nodal axis is so big in us being confident, but also being a part of the team, like with the Libra energy of relationships, but standing in our autonomy and sovereignty, and, you know, just basically getting rid of all those self-sacrificial stories or those judgments. Yes, it's going to be so good, y'all. Ooh, we are in a really amazing, magical unfolding and amazing time. And, you know, this is why I keep my membership community going, because we do the work in these potent times of the new and full moon. This is where I go into more astrology for people who love astrology. And we are embodied, we're integrating, and we are absolutely evolving in a sacred circle of souls that come together in our acupuncture points of the world. So if that feels interesting to your cells, to your body, check it out. I still have a 2-week free trial up, and we would love to welcome you in and just see how it co-creates with your unfolding. See how it fits in or aligns with where you're going in life. And if not my membership community, I highly encourage you to become a part of someone else's, because when you make that kind of investment with money, with your time, with your energy in your intentional growth and experience here, you are going to reap big benefits and rewards with the co-creative energies and the light that's coming onto the planet. Every time you get into the present moment activation and honor that 0 points, unlimited and unknown potential and possibility, ooh, manifestation is happening. Come to my free masterclass in August, and I'll be back here very soon talking about the Lion's Gate and the Venus retrograde. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And until next time, don't forget to keep looking up.